have an exciting guest here today with me. His name is Johnny Els. We actually know each other through a local community here in Colorado. And I'm super excited to be interviewing him and talking about his coaching journey. A quick bio on Johnny. He is the founder and CEO of TruFit Academy, which is an online personal training and health coaching company. He helps high performers conquer their bodies and minds through one-to-one coaching. He's been mentioned in the New York City Journal, and his big kind of promise is that he has helped over 100 clients lose over 2,500 pounds combined in the last 5 years, which is pretty incredible. Hey, Johnny, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey, how's it going, Josh? Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really excited to be chatting about one of my favorite subjects today, which is fitness. When you look at coaches across the board, you're usually in health, wealth, or relationships. And I believe that fitness is at the foundation of what makes everything else work so much. And I love what you're doing, especially the one-to-one coaching approach. So welcome. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, again, thanks a lot for having me today, Josh. I've been coaching people, let's say very, in general for the last 15 to 18 years. Ever since I was 12 to 13 years old, I've been coaching people, but it didn't get really serious until I was in college. I went to Texas A&M and I coached the A&M triathlon team as well as competing the Texas Ironman that same year. So that whole transformation was so powerful in my whole transition of becoming a coach was just because I just realized that I love doing this so much. And I love being able to see other people succeed and be happy and love their life and things like that. So after I graduated with my kinesiology degree, I moved to Colorado and I became a certified personal trainer and health coach. And then I just started working in and out at different gyms, kind of just testing the water and seeing a little bit about who I want to coach, how I can coach these people. I was in Boulder at one point coaching some professional triathletes, just with my background in college swimming and coaching the triathlon team and things like that. So it's been a lot of fun. And then ever since COVID happened, I actually transitioned TruFit Academy online. It was just for the time being, just because everything was closed and people didn't know what to do. And, they're in their house and they're frustrated and things like that. So maintaining a healthier, more active lifestyle was definitely very important in that year, not just for physical reasons, but also mental reasons as well. I remember at one point, July of 2020, I was losing my mind, and my wife and I had to go on like a week-long camping trip just to get out of the house.
Oh my God, I remember that. Like during COVID, everything was shut down, even my CrossFit gym, and they were really cool about it because they actually lent all of their weights and their barbells and dumbbells and stuff like that to people. And I can still remember myself doing the CrossFit workouts in my garage at the time because fitness was so important. But it was kind of nice because we had all this time on our hands. What else are you going to do? So that's cool. So that's when you transitioned to online?
Yeah, so I transitioned to online, and at first I didn't really know what I was doing, but I had a lot of people who were kind of following me already through Instagram and Facebook and things like that. So I just started offering online coaching, and it kind of blew up a little. I'm not going to lie, for that year, just because people needed some structure and accountability with their at-home, sessions. And so that's when I started my YouTube channel and started posting workouts and interviews and stuff like that. And it's just been growing every year, man. It's been a lot of fun. And like we said earlier, since I started online, which was in January of 2020, over 100 people have roughly lost 2,500 pounds collectively. So it's been pretty cool.
And if anybody else is out there, where my brain goes automatically is to do the math there. And I'm like 100 people, 20 pounds. I mean, an average of 25 pounds per person, which that's an incredible number.
Yeah.
I have a couple questions about what got you started, but what's the secret to getting people to actually lose weight? Or at least what are some of your secrets in order to actually get your clients results where maybe they didn't before, maybe they did and couldn't keep it?
Well, a lot of people who realize they need to make a change are probably hitting a point in their life where things are starting to get harder. And they're hurting more and they can't keep up with their kids and they're getting tired. And so they start making, realization that they need to start making that change. And that's kind of the first thing we try to work with people come into TruFit Academy is we need to identify what your why is. Like, why is it something you even want to do? Because if you're not serious about making a change, then you're not going to be as serious when it comes to actually seeing the results. And making a change, I'm not talking about completely flipping your life upside down, but incorporating some healthier habits into your lifestyle, eliminating a couple of things that may be holding you back, and just kind of reevaluating some of the things that are in your current life that reminding the change. And if you're willing to make these small changes and work on it and stay consistent, after a couple months, you're going to see huge changes. But the whole point of that is to actually build out that lifestyle so that by the time you're in your 60s and 70s, you're not on your deathbed. That's kind of the whole goal of the healthy lifestyle thing,
Yeah, it's interesting timing right now because we're sitting at January 14th today. And I heard this interesting, I think it was on a reel or something I was watching the other day, and it said that the second Friday of the new year, they actually have a name for it. It's called Quitting Friday, because everybody comes into the new year all excited with these habits, or they want to make all these big changes, but they never really connect strongly enough to a why behind the changes, and then fall back into old patterns of behavior so fast. So I love the fact that your number one focus, at least at the beginning, because I believe that should be the focus at the beginning of any transformational program, is figuring out why, so you can gain leverage on yourself and gain leverage to actually do the crap that you don't want to do when you don't want to do it. Is that what I generally hear you saying right now?
Yeah, 100%. I will say, I have my why and I have goals that I'm trying to reach. And sometimes I have bad days, and sometimes I am lazy. I don't want to do it. I feel everyone has those days. At that time, I need to remind myself what my why is and why I started this journey and where I see myself next year or next month. And if you don't have a solid why that actually taps into your emotions, like people ask me like, well, what your why is? Well, I want to lose weight, but like, why do you want to do that? Because I want to feel healthier. Well, why do you want to feel healthier? Well, I want to set a good example for my kids, and I want to make sure that I'm around when they have kids. And that's the deeper reason we try to connect on, because that's the why you need to remind yourself when you are tired and when you don't want to go for that walk. It's kind of a very futuristic thought bubble, but it's I think bringing it into the reality of now is also really important.
Hey guys, sorry for interrupting. I appreciate you listening to the Making of a Coach podcast. And if you're enjoying these conversations and episodes, the best way you can support me is by hitting the like and subscribe button on your favorite platform. We'll get back to the show in just a minute, but thank you so much. I know that there's a million different places that you could be giving your time, and you're choosing to listen to this show today. So again, from the bottom of my heart, I just want to thank you and give you appreciation and gratitude for listening to the show. You are a coach who has found a lot of success, but wants to figure out how you can move even faster, and you want to get some advice or an audit on some of your current systems, some of your current automations, or really your positioning or your marketing strategy, I would love to talk to you. One of the things we've done for years is I bring on a set number of private clients every single month, and we work directly with you on developing all of your marketing content, your brand, your product positioning directly with you, so you can move even faster towards your goals and towards bringing on more customers faster, fulfilling them better, making the money you want, but most importantly, fulfilling the purpose that God has put you on this earth to fulfill. I'd love to talk to you. Click the link in the show note captions or go to extractmedia.com. That is xtrctmedia.com to apply to get on a one-on-one phone call with me. I'll see you there. You might be wondering, what exactly is it that Josh and Extract Media do, and why are they launching this Making of a Coach podcast? One of the things we do is we help coaches scale their programs by bringing on new customers. And we created a brand new program called Invitation Funnels. So what is Invitation Funnels? The idea is really simple. We need to be communicating our message to our ideal target prospects. And the message that we need to be communicating is an invitation to something of value, a masterclass, a webinar, a short training, a challenge. And this is a theme we see through almost every and any marketing funnel that exists. So you need to communicate your message to your ideal target audience. You need to invite them, and then you need to educate them on what it is that you do and how they can get results through your program. And it's very, very simple. We've set up all the systems, all the processes for it, And we're actually launching our own masterclass on this training. So if you click the link in the show note captions or go to invitationfunnels.com, you can sign up for our masterclass today. Thank you so much. We'll see you on the inside. Hey, if you're listening to this episode and you're a coach struggling to or looking to get your first few customers, I have some great news. We just launched a brand new program called Extract AI, which will help you get so clear on your brand positioning, your product positioning, and how to set up all the foundational elements that used to take me 3 to 6 months of consulting work that I would do with my clients. It is now built all in a single AI software program that we just launched to all of our clients. And you can find that at xfactorcrm.com. If you want to sign up for that, it's $97 a month, and it is the most foundational thing that you need to get started as a coach. Go to xfactorcrm.com, click the masterclass button, and you'll find a free training and get free access to the software and the program that will help you develop your brand positioning playbook and your product positioning playbook so you can get started selling your coaching programs right now and get your first 3 to 5 customers fast. If you are a coach or somebody that wants to share your story and be interviewed by me on this show, I would love for you to click the link in the show note captions or scan the QR code that's going to come up on the screen if you're seeing this on video in order to apply to be a guest on the show. We are looking for people who are coaches or experts in their fields who want to tell their story of how they got started, challenges, struggles, and different things that they think would add value to other coaches in the industry. So if that's you, I would love to interview you. Click the link in the show note captions or the QR code to be a guest today. I have some great news for you. One of my passions in this life is to help entrepreneurs or people who want to become entrepreneurs live their best lives possible. And we do that by optimizing all of the major domains that you have in your life, whether it be your relationships, your health, your wealth, or your relationship with God. We created a free coaching program delivered through a Facebook group called the Extract Coaching Method. And I'd love for you to join. We'll include a link below, or you just scan the QR code right here to go ahead and join the group and go through some of our programs and some of our trainings so you can live the healthiest life that you have, so you can have the best relationships, so you can have a strong and connected relationship to God and your purpose in life, and so you can make as much money as humanly possible to set yourself free, because my purpose in this life is to provide as much value as I can to liberate people into the abundant kingdom of God. And that is the purpose of this group. So I will see you on the inside. Click the link, join me inside of the Extract Coaching Method. You know, one of the funny things I've always found is that, like, a lot of, for the most part, fitness programs are a lot about accountability and getting people to do the things they don't want to do. And that's the reason you hire a coach in the first place, because otherwise nobody would ever need a coach, right? You hire a coach to learn skills. You hire a coach to hold you accountable to actually doing those things. And you hire a coach to give you the information and kind of give you feedback on the things that you're doing, which is really cool. But where I'm going with this is that when you call somebody up and you're like, did you do that workout today? And they told you, and they self-profess the reason that they wanted to do all of this was so that they'd be around with their kids, then you've garnered permission to say, oh, I guess your kids are going to, I guess your kids aren't going to be very happy when you don't reach your goals, when you don't do those things, right? And they'll be like, oh, crap. All right. I'll roll. Oh, you got me. I guess I have to go do that workout and I can't eat that cheeseburger today.
I mean, obviously the point are not to make them feel bad, but it's also it's a little tough love, right? I want to make sure that I'm pushing you in the right direction. So that by the end of the week or by the end of the month, you feel really good about it and you feel accomplished and you feel more motivated to keep on going.
Yeah. How do you approach some, like, a lot of people I've seen do like things like 75 hard or really, really intense programs. And I have a belief when it comes to fitness and just training in general, that anything that's too strict will actually not work on the long term, and anything that's not strict enough will not work in the short term. So, like, how do you find a balance of allowing people to still live their lives while working towards and accomplishing their goals at the same time?
I think it depends on your mindset and kind of just where you are in life, to be honest. Like, if you're the type of person who knows that you might not put in as much effort as you want to, then I think a healthier habit route is probably going to be a lot easier to stick to. Thinking about your morning routine, thinking about, how much sugar you're eating, thinking about how much protein you're eating, those are some small things you can think about to just create a healthier lifestyle, so that you can see the results and maintain the results. On the flip side, people who do like challenges or 75 hard or things like that, I feel like people who don't really have an issue with motivation might sign up for things because it's like a mental challenge. It's like, can I prove to myself that I can commit this amount of days to a cause, and which can totally boost your confidence. I mean, when I trained for my Ironman, that was back when I was 21. I trained for almost 8 months just to do my 12-hour race. And although the race sucked and was exhausting, it was definitely worth the 8 months that I put in it. So people who did the 75 hard, like that could be a really amazing motivation booster. And just to know that you are able to do something. But in terms of creating longevity of health and like maintaining your goals, I think a longer approach is probably going to be healthier and just more sustainable and more enjoyable as well.
Yeah, I got it. That makes perfect sense. And, that's how I feel about it too, is just the idea that there are a lot of these programs. And, if a 75 hard has 5 things you have to do every day, it's way easier to do that, at least if you at least have a foundation of like, what should I do for fitness, or what should I do for those things? A lot of people that do that already have some sort of foundation, right? So that's cool. Hey, I want to transition a little bit to understanding a little bit more on the origin of TruFit Academy, because you said one thing that I found to be really interesting was that when you were starting your coaching journey, you said you've been doing this around 18 some odd years, and you've trained a lot of elite athletes, or elite college athletes, if you will. And then I'm sure that it's all the way down to people that are not in shape at all. But you worked in gyms and you were going into a lot of gyms. Obviously, you have a strong passion for fitness. But one of the things I see across the board in coaching industries are people that feel the call to become a coach is when is it time to take that leap from working for somebody to saying, you know what, I'm going to plant my flag and I'm going to go do my own thing. So I guess my question is, were you always doing your own thing and working one-on-one with clients you're on by yourself, or like what was the origin of TruFit Academy? Like, how did this start?
I want to be honest. I think it started when I was in high school. I was on a year-round swim team, and although I was pretty good, I felt like I didn't get enough knowledge from my current coaches of how I could be better in terms of nutrition and mindset and resting and a lot of other things that go into training and reaching your goals. It's not just about how hard you can work out. And so I feel like that held me back quite a bit. And then when I got into college and I started learning more about nutrition, and, heart health and, a lot of other sciencey stuff I can go into right now about transporting nutrients and muscle mass and things like that too. I just really wanted to learn more about the human body because I wanted to know how I could manipulate my own body so that I can reach my goals on my time. I just became way more about myself, and I don't think it's really that selfish. I just think it's something that I want to do for me. So yeah, then I got into college and I started coaching different people. And just like we said, some people already had a lot of experience and they just needed more accountability, but other people had no clue what to do and they just needed some sort of guidance and accountability. TruFit started when I realized that not that many people are actually educated on everything that they need to know to maintain a healthy lifestyle. It's not just about how much cardio you do and how many salads you eat. It's about knowing how much protein you need for your body so that you can have energy, right? It's about knowing how many steps you need to take per day based off your body type. There's so many different things that can go into it. And I feel like the internet makes it really complicated about cardio or carbs, good carbs and bad carbs, and cardio and not too much cardio and all these different things. But what we try to do in the TruFit Academy is just make it really simple. We try to teach you more about your body type, teach you more about how cardio and how weights can affect your body differently, and how you can structure all of these different things into your lifestyle, because everyone's lives are different, right? Everyone has different challenges, different traumas, different things that they're dealing with. Some people have kids, don't have kids, a hard job, an easy job. And I just feel like what we try to do is educate people on how they can work in what they need to do to reach their goals on their own time. So that's kind of the gist of it, because I feel like there's a lot of programs out there that's like, well, here's a 30-day program guaranteed to lose 10 pounds. But it's a very broad plan. It's not very specific to who you are, and it may not even work for you because it's not fitting in with your life. Right?
Yeah, I've seen that so much where it's like a one size fits all program, and that's just not the case. And a lot of people think they can get by by buying a inexpensive program or being a part of a group where they're trying to train everybody. Like, sure, of course, there's programs out there that have a lot of the foundational basics. Like, you need to lift weights, you have to do some cardio, you got to eat well. But how you actually do that specifically for yourself is the reason that somebody, at least I believe, as you're going through that journey, needs to actually work with somebody one-on-one who can give you that one-on-one feedback. And that's one of the things that I found to be the most interesting as I was reading through and looking through TruFit Academy website and your social medias and things like that, is that despite even the pull, you're still working with people on a one-to-one basis. Is that right? And so, I guess my next question would be, what pisses you off about about the fitness industry? Like what do you see on like Instagram, or as you're scrolling through reels and you're like, oh, that's stupid, or like that's not what I would train anybody. Like, what pisses you off that you see a lot?
I feel like people compare themselves too much to other people, right? What you see on Instagram is the best of the best. Like, you see fitness professionals and coaches and actors and models, and they're posting all their Instagram, their videos and photos. That's all like, peak season, good lighting. Like, they have nutritionists, they have all these different things, and it's really hard to believe in yourself and know that you're worth more when you see all these other people who are doing way better than you, right? So I just feel like comparing yourself to other people is such a downer, because their lives are completely different. You don't know what they're dealing with. You don't know how many coaches they have supporting them. So I think it pisses me off when the coaches expect too much out of their clients, when it's like, hey, you have struggles, you have things that you're dealing with, and that's okay, right? It's about recognizing that you have these issues, and then realizing that if I can work around some of these, or, do X, Y, and Z in the morning and kind of push this off over here, just adjusting your life slightly so that it actually benefits you for the better.
Do you see any of that showing up in like unrealistic goals, or somebody wanting to, like, let's say I'm 50 or 60 pounds overweight and I come to you and I want to have a Greek god physique and 6-pack abs and 3% body fat, and I want to do that in a year? Like, do you see that quite often?
I'll be honest, a lot of the people who I've been working with lately don't have such an extreme transformation goal. People who want to be shredded are already almost there, I feel. Someone who wants to lose 50 pounds and just be healthier, they may not want to see their abs. They just want to be able to, carry all the groceries in one trip and not get winded.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I noticed, and I actually asked you this question right before we got on the call, and I found this to be super interesting, but you're doing these like mini seminars, and the seminars seem to be for very, very beginners. And I asked you the question before we got on the show. I was like, wait a second. So you haven't found a lot of success working with people that are just getting started. So it seems like these seminars are a great fix for that, so people can get on their way. What makes somebody be a perfect kind of candidate for one-on-one fitness coaching? Like, how do you know that you're ready to hire a coach?
I think if you've struggled for something long enough and you've tried to Google different, answers, and you've tried so many different diets and plans and nothing's really sticking, that's the issue. Like, if you eat healthier and work out, like, yeah, you'll lose weight and look better, but like, are you creating the healthy habits that you need in order to maintain those results? So when I'm working with beginner clients, like, I want to make sure that I'm getting you something that's actually going to work so that you can see results. But it's not like you can only have that one thing for the rest of your life. Things are going to have to adjust and shift And I think whenever you feel like you are ready to go, like you're ready to make a commitment, you're ready to change, you have time, you have a winning mindset, like you know that you can do this, then you're ready to hire a coach. Because if you're already winning in your mind, the moment the coach gives you the blueprint to success, like it's like a fast track. You're gonna skyrocket all the way to the top just because you already have a winning mindset.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of workers in the past sometimes struggle with their mindset, and they're still kind of walking every now and then. They're eating healthier, but they're not really focusing on what they're trying to do. And if you're not 100% focused on making a change and wanting to see a healthier lifestyle and look and feel just a lot more confident, I think whenever you're ready to go, you'll know it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. To me, you have to first decide that you want to change, and then you start getting the programs. But I mean, you see so much fitness advice out there, regardless of what podcast somebody listens to, and it can get insanely overwhelming. Like, just go listen to 5 episodes of Andrew Huberman. He's going to tell you to do all these 19 different things, and now you're starting to create a checklist. And I'm like, crap. Okay, so I'm going to have to spend 4 hours a day doing these different protocols in order to get the results that I want, because I'm trying a bunch of stuff that might or might not be important.
Right. And I feel like if it's going to take over your life, it's not going to work because it's not working in with your schedule. Because you can't. I mean, yeah, you have a lot of priorities in your life, and you and your health should be a priority, but you're not going to, you're not going to go to the gym and skip out on feeding your children for dinner. Like, you're not going to do that.
Yeah.
So I do understand your other priorities.
I'm a big fan of I'm not sure if you've ever read this book, but Tim Ferriss in the 4-Hour Work Week, I think it's in the 4-Hour Work Week, he talks about fitness a lot. And in that, he's talking about basically the minimum viable amount of work that you need to do in order to get the maximum results. And he's done a lot of studies on that. When I'm working in business and when I'm working with clients, one of the things that I'm working with them on a lot is, what is the one thing, or what's the minimum thing that we need to do right now to achieve the maximum results, so you can let go of all the other crap that doesn't work. And if you only have a set period of time, or like 3 or 4 hours, or if you only have a certain container, what's the thing that I should do in that container to make sure that I still achieve progress towards the results that I want, depending on the time frame, right? And so that applies to fitness as well as the Pareto principle, the 80-20 principle. There's 20% of the crap that you do that's going to give you 80% of the results, but it also works the other way around too. 20% of the crap you eat and 20% of the things that you put in your body are going to give you 80% of the negative results as well. So and this is I guess what I'm trying to communicate is that this is why having a coach or having somebody that you work with as you're learning these things and figuring these things out is so pivotal, because they can make sure that at very minimum, you're doing the minimum required things as far as cardio you mentioned, as far as weightlifting or resistance training you mentioned, as far as diet that you mentioned. And I don't know if you coach people on sleep or anything like that, or sleep or recovery as well, but all 4 of those categories are absolutely pivotal in feeling good on a regular basis. Would you have anything to add to that?
Earlier we talked about healthy habits and trying to work things into your life, and you're saying how some other programs or cookie cutter things that people would sign up for that are kind of cheaper may work, but it's very broad, right? And I feel like anything you find on the internet can be very broad, and nothing can be is specific to what you are looking for. And it's hard to actually know what you're looking for unless you have someone to talk to who would ask you questions and about your life and about what you're struggling with and where you see yourself and what restrictions you have, what limitations you have. And all of that can play into building something that's going to be just powerful,
Yeah. I keep my brain keeps going back to this why idea. And so I'm curious, is there Are there any stories or specific clients that really stick out to you as like, man, that was an awesome or a deep why, or that was an awesome transformation? Like, can you tell me any of those journeys that you can think of?
100%. So I climbed back in 2021, and she was a single mom and she's a nurse. And so she worked pretty much full time to pay, for life and for her kid. And she was also quite overweight. And her daughter really wanted to go zip lining at some park that they lived nearby. But the mom always exceeded the weight limit. So they'd never gone. And so that was a huge eye opener for her, because now she is restricting her child of joy because of her decisions. And that did not sit well with her. And so when she signed up, she lost about 30 pounds in the first 3 months,
Oh, wow.
which was insane. And she had a lot of knee issues as well. And obviously, because she was a full-time nurse, we had to work around her schedule, make sure she was eating properly. But like what you said earlier, we want to maximize our time. We want to make sure we are getting the most results possible with the least amount of effort. And there's a lot of ways we can actually do that through boosting our metabolism, making sure our food is working for us, and just strengthening our body so that our body can actually burn more calories. These are all different things that you can do that take up very little time or energy that create huge results. So that was one amazing thing. So she lost her weight and she was able to go zipline with her kid. And that was a lifestyle change that she made, because she's been able to keep, I think at the end, she lost around 50 pounds and she's kept it off. Amazing. So that was one. And the other one, the more recent one of our family friends, he's in his 60s, and he was on a couple of different medications like blood pressure and some heart medicine. And he joined with me because his goal was to run a half marathon. That did not end up being the case. We were shooting a little high, but what was really nice was we got him into a really amazing routine. He lost about 15 to 20 pounds. He had a lot of dietary restrictions as well, so we had to make sure we worked around that. But it was nice to connect with him and understand what he's dealing with, what medications he's on, what he's allergic to, and building him something that's going to be really sustainable. So he ended up losing the weight, and as a result, he was actually able to get off of some of his medication as well. So saving money as well, making it, so he's not paying for any more medicine. All of those stories really stick out because it transformed people to a level that made them, so happy that they didn't even know how to express her almost.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I think that one of the most rewarding parts about being a coach is actually seeing your clients get results and seeing the transformations that they achieve and who they get to become through that. And I think that really, the name of this podcast is Becoming a Coach, right? Or sorry, Making of a Coach. And it's all about making of somebody who is becoming a new person. And so I love talking about these journeys and talking about where somebody started or where somebody ends up after working with somebody who's just able to give them a few small tweaks or a few small things or a little bit of motivation or a little bit of extra stuff or extra juice. I'd love to talk a little bit more about your business journey as well, because one of the things that I see a lot of people do is say, hey, I really am passionate about this topic and I'm passionate about coaching people on this topic. But when I go into business by myself, I also have to start learning an entire new set of skills. I need to learn sales. I need to learn customer acquisition. I need to learn marketing. I have to learn how to bring on clients. I have to learn how to service them. I have to do that in a different way. So I guess I'd ask you, in your journey, what have been some of the biggest struggles in transitioning it from being just a fitness coach to having to also be a business person?
That's a great question. So yeah, when I was working in the gym a couple of years ago, it was easy because I just kind of stand around, and whenever a new client comes in looking for a trainer, we just get assigned a client. And then we get to learn about them and kind of figure out what's going to be best for you. But now that I've been online and I don't have anyone just showing up at my front door, and now I'm going out and looking for clients and looking for people who need help. So I, very, funny enough, the very first thing was I hired a coach because I needed help and I needed just some more direction and accountability and just structure with what I needed to do. And just also to teach me, like, how do I do this? What am I doing? And that first coach taught me a lot about how to actually get transformations with my clients online, what kind of tools to use, what kind of apps to use, how to structure out my program, all of that different stuff, which was super helpful. The only thing it didn't include was sales and marketing. So about a year later, I hired another coach who taught me more about sales and marketing. It was only sales and marketing. And that was really, really cool because not only did I learn how to talk to people, but also how to sell to people. And selling is funny because it's a lot of listening. It's not like, this is what I can do for you. Here's my plan. Here's what we can do. It's a lot of listening and understanding who I'm talking to, what their problem is, how I can solve it. And just making sure we're a good fit for each other. And it's taken me quite some time to understand, like, how to not be so salesy all the time. Because when I first started, I'm like, hey, I'm so awesome. I'm so great. Here are my transformations. Like, come work and fight with me. Which worked to a level. But I feel like I'm getting to a point, and it's been a couple of years, and I'm getting to a point now where I have a lot of transformation. I have a lot of different stuff going on, and more people are coming to me now, which has been really nice because now I can kind of, I raised my prices a little bit. I kind of weeded out some people who I kind of knew weren't going to be full in it. But it's definitely been a huge learning process. I'd say I definitely learned more about taxes and business in the last 3 years than I ever did in college.
Yeah, it's funny how much you learn when you're forced to, and you have to file your 1099s, your taxes, and all your different things in whatever ways, and you have to actually set pricing to make sure that you can pay your taxes at the end of the year and you don't spend the money and you're not an idiot. And you instead of, you're working at a gym and you're getting paid a fraction of what people are paying. And then you're working by yourself and it seems great because you're making all of it, right? But you then don't realize the support that they actually did give you in what that extra little bit was paying for, which was sales and marketing and operations and business and W-2s and health insurance and all the things. And so is there any advice that you'd give to a fitness coach that is currently maybe working for a gym or working somewhere else and they want to start or launch something like what you've built?
I will say when I first started, one, online coaching, and two, when I thought about investing in a coach to help me, it's scary. It's a lot of money up front that you are giving up, that you don't have security in a job. Like, it's scary. You don't even know, like, when are you get paid next, or when another client comes at the door. But I will say investing in those coaches is by far the best decision I've ever made in my business because they just straight up showed me how to get results. And there was no trial and error. It was just like, look, here are the steps. Make sure you do it. We'll hold you accountable. Here we go. And I take the same approach in my business as well. Kind of what I've learned from my business coaches, I try to relay onto my clients as well. Like, there's no games, there's no gimmicks, there's no tricks, there's no magic pill. Here are your 3 steps, plain and simple. I'll keep you accountable. Let's get going. But for people who are trying to leave and start an online business and things like that, it's scary. But I can tell you, if you have the right people in your network and you try really, really hard, like every morning, you got to get locked in, like create that morning routine, make sure you're exercising, make sure you're feeding yourself properly. So that you can actually focus on what you're trying to do and be motivated to keep on going. Even when you feel like you're failing, you're not. Because for so many years, dude, I thought I was failing as an online coach. And I'm posting all these things online and on YouTube and Facebook and LinkedIn, and no one is liking it or responding or commenting. But then I'll get a random person message me saying, hey, I've been following you for the last several months and I love everything and I want to sign up. And I'm like, where have you been? So people aren't going to respond. They're not going to like your stuff, but they will see it. So just keep on posting, keep on being who you are, share your values, being vulnerable, because people like that stuff and they want to connect with people who they want to, people want to work with people who they know they can connect with. So as an online coach, that's really what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to be as, I want to be as close to who I am as possible on social media so people just know who I am, so they're not afraid to work with me.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest barriers too, is like when you're getting started. I had somebody message me the other day that said, "Hey, do you have any tips on starting to post videos and things like that and getting the confidence to post videos online?" And my advice to him was, there's no advice aside from just doing it, because nobody's going to be there. They're not going to care. They're not going to judge you. They're scrolling through their reels and they'll just skip through it anyway. Like nobody's going to judge you for doing the work that they're not doing. And if they do judge you and they're not doing the work, then who cares? Because they're not somebody that's trying to do what you're doing. But there is no, just like lifting weights, right? The first time you do a squat, you're probably going to suck at it. And you're probably going to suck at it for a while. Like your form will be off, your knees won't be out, things won't track over your toes, your back might bend a little bit, it'll feel weird, and you're not going to be able to lift the 315 pounds that the guy next to you is lifting. But I think this goes back into what you said before. It was the whole comparison thing, because you're comparing yourself to that guy that's lifting 315 while negating the fact that he's been on that squat platform for 7 years.
Exactly.
Just like the guy that's great on video online has been doing videos online for 7 years. And you're like, well, my video is not as good as his. Well, of course it isn't. Like, why would it be?
It's just like riding a bike or reading or doing or driving. No one's going to be good at it when you first start, or even the second time you do it. It's not going to be that great. And that's another thing that I try to relate to my clients. It's more about consistency than intensity. If you're going to the gym once a week and you're going there for 2 hours straight and you're sweating a ton, you're not going to see as good results as if you're going there 4 times a week for only 15 minutes. Right?
What if I go 4 times a week for 2 hours?
I mean, if you can maintain it, then that's awesome.
I have this framework, and you can steal this if you want. I always used it. But I can't remember exactly where it comes from, but there's this idea that first you have to discipline yourself to do something. And the reason it's called discipline is because discipline is what you do to a child to get them to do something that they don't want to do. And so you first have to set it up as a discipline. And then eventually that discipline becomes a habit. So it starts to get ingrained. You start to get used to it. You start to feel kind of weird if you're not doing it. So it starts to become a habit. And they say it takes 21 days to make or break a habit. So the first 21 days is not a habit, it's a discipline. But after that, it becomes a habit. Then after it becomes a habit, it starts to become a routine. A routine meaning it's just what you do. It starts to become what you do. Like, this is what I do. I go and train and I do running and I do this. This is and then all the things that a coach can help you with as you're going through that progression are really more about what you do and how you do it versus whether you do it or not. That's the accountability piece. And then finally, I think the promised land that I've seen, is, at least for fitness or business or really anything, is the last step where it becomes literally part of your identity. And so if you can go through that 4-step framework of starting with a discipline, allowing that and sticking with it long enough for it to turn into a habit, eventually letting that habit become a routine, so much so that you can identify with that being part of who you are. Like Johnny, you're a guy that works out. That's what you do. That's who you are. That's probably how all your friends would describe you. And so that is who you are. And so if you want to be successful in business, you're going to have to go through that entire process. And I loved earlier when you mentioned, like, there's no red pill, there's no blue pill. Anybody that's online that's trying to say, launch this one thing and all of a sudden you're going to be more successful without doing all these reps, like, it's probably not true. Hey, go launch this thing. You'll start your own personal business and you'll make $25,000 to $50,000 a month. Well, maybe, but a lot of times the only way the only shortcut that I've seen in some of those areas is spending a lot of money on having somebody just do it for you. But that's also something that I love about fitness, is that it is the one thing that nobody can do for you. You can't buy a body.
Right. It's like the one thing that you actually have control over. You know, people are between kids and their work and their life going on. I feel like there's so many things that are out of your control, and then people get frustrated when things don't go their way, which is always going to happen. But your health and your fitness, what you put in your body and how you move your body, are things that you will always have control over. I feel like there's something to be said about having peace over having that control. You know, and someone asked me the other day, like, no, how do you get motivated to go work out or do all this stuff? I'm like, I don't, dude. I can't. I mean, I might have some pictures or some goal on a sheet or something, but it's about being disciplined. And then they're like, well, how do you master discipline? And I'm like, you can't. It's something you have to work on every single day. And some days are better than others. And some days you need rest, and some days you don't feel like doing it. But it's about making that choice and becoming that identity. Like we said earlier, yeah, working out is a part of who I am, and it always will be. Being active and being healthy, and it's always going to be a part of me, because I always want to feel confident and energized and happy, and I don't want to be in a sour mood or winded. And just a final piece of what you just said earlier, man. It's the between building those habits and creating a routine. That's kind of the whole point. Right? If you're struggling to get started, you're not getting started with something, and there's no deadline, right? It started when you were born, and it's the deadline when you die, and it's something that you got to work on all the time. And if you're not willing to work on it, then you can't expect any kind of result. That's just the bottom line.
Yeah, I was watching an interesting thing on motivation, because I think motivation is stupid. I don't mean that in like a super abrasive way, but I actually do think motivation is stupid, because if you sit around waiting for motivation, you're never going to get anything done. I don't know if you know who Alex Hormozi is. He's one of the thought leaders that I pay a lot of attention to in marketing. He's a fitness guy. And he put together the sales training, and in it, one of the things that he said for people to say during the call, it's like, look, we give you motivation, but we don't really give you motivation. It's kind of like, you know, do you need to go and get motivated to watch Game of Thrones? Like, do you sit down and you have to like motivate yourself and get all amped up to watch TV? Well, right. No. Well, that's kind of what we do. We try and make working out like watching TV for you, so you don't even need motivation in the first place. And that's where that routine and it becoming who you are is important, because motivation isn't going to get you there.
And that's another good point of why it's so important to hire a coach, because if you look online to do like fat loss workouts or things to eat for fat loss, you're going to find either really hard or boring things that you don't want to do. So you'll never be motivated to actually doing them. If you work with someone who knows who you are, knows your schedule, knows what you like and dislike, they can give you something that will automatically demotivate, right? Like, for example, if I have a client and they say, I hate running or I hate doing burpees, well, guess what? We're never doing either of those, because you're never going to try at either of those if they're not motivated. So why even try? Right? I'd rather give you things that are automatically going to motivate you.
Yeah, you don't go and try and set a goal to do the thing that you hate the most. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. Go and figure out something that you do. Like if it's freaking pickleball, go play pickleball. Fine, whatever. Like at least track some calories and get some things. Like I think pickleball is dumb, but I know a lot of people really like pickleball, and that's great because you're out, you're moving your body, you're doing different things. So that's awesome. It's the fastest growing sport in America, apparently.
I love pickleball.
You're a pickleball guy?
Oh man, it's so much fun. Well, because my mom played tennis, and I played a lot of ping pong, like in high school, like just for fun.
Okay.
But then when I got into college, I played pickleball for the first time. I was like, oh man, this is on another level. This is fun because it's playing easier, but you're still moving around. So it's like a workout, but you don't even realize you're working out because it's so much fun.
But you don't have to motivate yourself to do it.
Exactly. It's just something you want to go do. It excites you.
Yeah. Like I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Like I live in Colorado. And hiking, and it excites me a lot because it's pretty and it's fun, and I get to see birds, and it tires me out a little bit. So I actually feel accomplished. And those are the type of things that will actually motivate you to go out and get out.
Dude, I got Beer Miler on my list. I got this thing for Christmas to hit all the 58 14ers here in Colorado. So we'll have to go hit one time.
That would be awesome. I haven't done one yet. So that's great.
You haven't done a
It'd be
single
nice
one?
to have someone. No. And it'd be nice to have someone keep me accountable and go with me.
Yeah, I've lived here for 6 months and I've hit 4 of them already. Granted, one of them was 2 in 1. So there's this really cool mountain called Grays and Torreys. And in one hike, it's about 9 miles. You hit 2 peaks at the same time, which is really cool. But we'll have to go. I'll invite you the next time. I'm looking for hiking buddies.
Perfect.
So on closing, like just one last question is, if you could train any public figure or celebrity and have them be a client of yours, who would you pick and why?
Jelly roll.
I love that. And you already, like, you just had it at your mouth.
I'm ready. Yeah, well, he's such a cool guy, and he's so talented. And I just know that I honestly, I look for people who are already driven in their career, because if they're driven in their career, they'll be driven in other things that make them successful, right? Being in shape and having confidence and having energy, it's going to make you successful. People who are successful have confidence. They know how to talk to people. They stand taller. They're in a better mood. And that's not going to happen if you don't feel good or anything, you know?
Yeah, that's an interesting choice too. I feel like his brand is that he's fat. Like that's part of his brand. It wouldn't that like, but also think of the scarf. Jelly Roll gets fit.
Well, I think at one point he was talking about needing to get healthier. So I would definitely want to help him out. I know being bigger is kind of his whole thing, but being healthy should also be a thing.
Nice.
Right.
Yeah, that's an incredible answer. I would have never thought of that. So I do want to leave people so tell me about your online programs and where people could go to get in touch with that, or if they're interested in hiring you. So give a little plug and a little of your own personal advertising for anybody that's listening to this.
Yeah, my website is TruFitAcademy.com. It's TRUFIT Academy. I've got a lot of different really cool things. I have transformations and stuff. But you can get in contact with me there. My Instagram, TRUFIT_Academy. I post a lot of really cool workout videos and recipes and motivational stuff on there as well. But yeah, reach out to me. We can hop on a quick call. I want to just learn more about who you are, what you're starting with, what kind of where you see yourself in the future, and then from there we could kind of take a step back, build out a solid game plan for you, and I'd say 100% of my clients within the first month have seen huge changes. And then from there, we kind of adjust and reassess some things so that it can become a little bit more sustainable.
Oh, that's awesome. And you specifically work with people one-on-one and then have like online support and online courses and stuff like that they can go through to get more information and specific instruction.
Yeah, so we have an online app. It's a free app that people can download, and this is where I make all of their workouts that come with videos and the amount of reps and rest and all that kind of stuff. We talk about nutrition, making sure you're getting in the right percentage of macros at the right time. That is huge, and not a lot of people think about that kind of stuff, but eating the right amount of macros, in terms of your proteins, carbs, and fats around your exercise, matters, because now it's depending on if you're burning fat for energy or if you're burning food for energy. And so if you could kind of target one versus the other, it's going to be a lot easier to reach your goals, feel healthier, lose weight, and things like that. So we want to make sure that we're structuring everything according to their life, because again, if it's not going to fit into your life, then it's not going to work. Right. But then, yeah, we have the online course, and we also have an online community. We bring people in, just so that they are not only getting support and accountability from me, but also from a lot of my other clients who are also going through similar challenges.
Nice. Awesome. Well, on that note, I will put links to your Instagram and links to your website and your programs. And you didn't mention it, but there's an ebook available as well that he has on his website, which seems really cool. So I'll put all
Yes.
those links in the show note caption. So if you guys want to contact Johnny, check him out. As always, thank you guys so much for listening to the show. I know that there's a lot of different things you could be listening to and people that regularly doing that for. And so I appreciate your time. I appreciate your attention and your energy. And if there's anything that we can do to help you out, reach out to me directly at Josh Shurkovich on Instagram. And I will look forward to seeing you guys on the next one. Thank you.